As promised, here is the solo GM with Black Hammer. Oh, that's right. That's right. No, Black Spindle, right? That's the name of the weapon. Oh, D2 vets shouting at me. Oh, yeah, it's Whisper of the Worm, exotic sniper rifle. Yeah, that's the weapon. That's what we're soloing a GM with. Now, it's anti-barrier sniper. That means Whisper of the Worm will always be overcharged in activities that allow it. GMs is one of them. So your Whisper of the Worm will get the buff, regardless of whether Solar Surge is up or not. Just to clarify it, I am getting it overcharged because it's a seasonal mod. Barrier Sniper is a seasonal mod, therefore it is overcharged. Don't worry about Solar Surge. Okay, so we're skipping the first barrier. The first GM that came to mind as a long-range GM was Scarlet Keep. So I want a long-range GM to show off Black Hammer, Whisper of the whatever, in its best possible light. That's what I'm trying to do. It wouldn't make sense in some other GMs. In this GM, it makes partial sense. All right, so loadout-wise, I'm using Doom of Chouch's Void, Riptide, and obviously Whisper of the Worm. The loadout's curated for that. Look at the massive damage that we're doing. Now, I'm going to issue a challenge. Here we go. Some D2 scientist down below can tell me how many crits I missed with the sniper. What was my precision accuracy stat as a percentage compared to the hits I got with a crit compared to the hits that I missed with Whisper of the Worm. Let's see if some D2 physicist is that basically powerful enough, clever enough to work it out. I don't know because I haven't. There's your first miss there. So we end up. That's our first miss. I've already seen it. The barrier outplayed me. That was unfortunate. But yeah, the idea is, here's the DPS rotation on barrier champs with Whisper. This is how it should go. Get volatile rounds via a void primary or whatever barrier weapon you've got on first. Get the stun with your weapon, then swap to Black Hammer, Whisper of the Worm on the second phase. See? That's where you get the damage. That's where you can do better damage that way. I'll tell you why. Because White Nail, the perk on Whisper, does not proc on a body shot. A barrier champ shot will be a body shot. Therefore, you cannot get White Nail to proc. So it sort of defeats its purpose as a barrier sniper because you're wasting a body shot on a barrier shield. So the answer is really simple. Just use an alternative barrier weapon and then use it as a damage dealer. So really, the barrier sniper thing makes no much. Although it is good. It's like Arbalest. It will one-shot a shield. So it is decent. But, you don't want to be continually body shot and barrier champs. That's not the identity of the weapon. So you need to play to its strengths, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do. Although it's hard in 2025 to play to this weapon's strengths in a solo GM, and it is, but you can make it work, and it is pretty good, but there are other better options at the minute. But Whisper's very niche in what it does. When it does do a good job at something, when it's up against sustained long damage DPS phases against a boss that's easy to crit, then it's best in slot. That's only when the boss, you're at the mercy of Bungie's boss design. It depends on what bosses they make. They make fantastic bosses. I'm just saying it depends on that, doesn't it? So I use a Song of Flame. Remember, you'll get barrier rounds for free with Song of Flame. So I'm using the Nezarec Sin build that I did for the Telesto run. I'm just sticking with what I was using because the run's not about the build. It's about Whisper. Yeah, so, I'm just doing the same thing as what I did with Telesto, basically. But I'm just swapping Telesto out for a Void Primary, and I'm using Whisper of the Worm instead on Scarlet Keep. Hope it makes sense. Okay, so this section, I'm going to pop a Transcendence. I keep getting my Transcendences, so I'm going to use it on the wizards and things. Because of how mobile wizards are, I am going to mainly freeze them with Riptide and Transcendence near them and stuff like that. Look. It just melts them down. It incapacitates the wizards, so it's always beneficial. On GMs like this, where there's threatening targets like wizards and boomers, if you can try and freeze them instead, of trying to crit them, or maybe freeze them, then crit them. I'm going to drop the relic. Oh, the champ has not spawned in. I've just noticed. Yeah, the champ won't spawn in until you bring the relic. I'm going to drop the relic on purpose. I don't generally do this, but I'm going to, because I want to play into the power fantasy of Whisper. So here we go, look. Turret goes down. I need to get volatile rounds with my scout, which is what? 4 crits. It's 4 to 5 crits. Get my 4 to 5 crits. Barrier rounds indicated on bottom left UI. Then I get my shield break. Okay, get my shield break. Then I'll go for Radiant Melee. Wait for Whisper Breathing, bottom left hand UI. And then just 3 crits. 3 crits a champ. Without bolt charges, it's probably 4 to 5 crit, which isn't bad because remember of the ammo, yeah, and the refund. So yeah, it's decent, and it's got a lot of ammo with field prep. My version's the field prep one, which I can't even remember what else is on the weapon, but at the time when we crafted Whisper, field prep was the way to go with this weapon. Honestly, now I've just think about it, I can't even remember what we did, what the options was on Whisper. It's that long ago. It's been a while. Actually, it hasn't been that long since I used Whisper. I used Whisper in the exotic mission Encore. The Encore mission, that's fantastic. Yeah, I used it on that fight, which was S+ for that fight. It was probably best in slot. Why? Because of the spot I found. People might not know about the Encore mission or the solo DPS location I found. Very favourable. It was a 70-meter radius between me and the Hydra, 70-80 meters. And at 70-80 meters damage, yeah, Whisper's king. Whisper and Slayer Simmons pretty good as well, linears, you know, that sort of thing. So far, let's think about the ammo capacity that I've used so far, because it's field prep, which field prep does stack with Scav, and I've got Solar Scavenger on. I've even got Solar Holster on, which is pretty good. It's Solar Holster's good with this sniper, because when you do your 3 crits, you know, say if one's missed or if one of them was a shield break, you won't get White Nail to proc. But when you swap to another weapon do damage, the sniper will be reloaded, ready to go for another shield break if that needs to happen. So Solar Holster was pretty good with this. It was all right. Okay, I pop a really good Transcendency. I recommend if you're doing Scarlet Keep, have a Transcendence for this bit. We do massive damage, 68k crit. There against the Unstop with Whisper, really good. We're playing into its power fantasy as much as possible. Still got Transcendence left. I use a Transcendence nade up top, but none of the ads are there, so I must have cleared out a lot of them. That's fine. They're all down here. I've got Devour, luckily, because I was weak here. I'm using Doom. Doom's a fantastic scout, but what's its Achilles heel? Are you noticing its Achilles heel? Because it has got one, as I guess all scouts have. Not very good up close. Up close, it's a funky gun. It doesn't feel very good. But obviously it's a scout rifle. But I'm just mentioning it. See that little integration or encounter I had there, I did not feel powerful with Doom because it felt a little bit slow, if I'm being honest. But obviously it's a long-range monster. Make no mistake about it. At its job, Doom is a fantastic machine. Long-range machine. Very good. But up close, because it's a slower fire weapon, 180 RPM, I prefer the 200 RPM scouts. I think they're slightly stronger in PvE. I.e. Manannan's frame. The lightweight frames, in my eyes, are slightly better than the 180s. The 180s feel a little bit slow. Maybe because I've been spamming Manannan last week, and I felt like I was so powerful with Manannan, and I put Doom on. Doom feels strong. But then it makes me second guess myself, and I'm like, hang on a sec, Manannan's way stronger than what I thought it was. Look at the barrier champ there, we just melt. We've got Whisper Breathing, look at damage, Shrieker. Boom, massive damage. I should have done another crit. I didn't realise I'd be doing that much damage. But look, I can control this Shrieker. I'm going to farm him for a bit of super energy. That's what I'm going to do. Just a little bit, and then just get rid of some of these ads. So yeah, you can keep opening and closing Shriekers. Whisper's very good for the Shrieker bits. There's another one coming up, and we just melt them. They're 2-shot. They're a 2-tap. And with Scarlet Keep, if you never run a long-range weapon at all in your kit, you will start to suffer at the Shrieker sections and the long-range engagements in Scarlet's Keep. And there's some long-range engagements in this. Okay, it's the most long-range GM this season, as far as I'm aware, or can sort of think of. Some of the cells got a bit of long range in it, but a lot of it's close quarters, and the final boss is close quarters, isn't it? You know, we get a stun on this wizard. We're farming him for a bit of energy, from ability energy with Nezarec. We're close to our super as well. But with the thing with Nezarec, it's very good on neutral gameplay because it's given me energy for all my abilities. It's not just super anymore. So I was thinking more about this because I've done Nezarec's Sin on Prismatic Warlock a lot lately, and it's actually one of the best options to use this season on Prismatic. Well, on a lot of things, but on Prismatic Warlock, particularly with Song of Flame, because of the low cooldown, Nezarec aids that. It's a band-aid to that problem, and it just makes it fantastic. It plays to all the Void Artifact mods this season as well. So Nezarec's Sin's a S+ exotic. It's probably my top 3 used exotics on Warlock right now. Top 3. It's even contending with Rhymecoat Rymant. That's how good Nezarec's Sin is right now. And it's simply, all you need to do is use a Void Primary or some Void weapon at all, and you're cooking. And it doesn't have to be Luminarch. It can be any Void Primary that you love. Any one. Void Bow, Void Scout, Void Pulses. There's a couple of good Void Pulses out there. So many things you can do with it. It's flexible. It's flexible without the game punishing you in any way with this build is what I'm on about. Okay, I'm going to get a turret up. I'm going to avoid super because I don't need it. I'm just going to use my Arcane Needle. I should have had my Riptide reloaded, but look, I can just freeze this wizard in cover. These ads aren't getting me, so Riptide just melts. But what is that done? That's saved a super cooldown, you know, because most people would have popped super there. No, pop it on the left or right wizard. I'm getting more out of my super here, look. Because I melted the first wizard regardless. Second wizard gets melted because I've got a super. Champ spawns in. I've still got my Song of Flame. This is where it's going to come in, look. Still got usage. Doom gets auto radiant with Song of Flame, of course. Look at the damage. I was going to do rotation with the Whisper of the Worm, but the champ got deleted by bolt charges and stuff, so we melted him. But that was a good use there. What did we get off that super? I want you to sort of start to think more about supers. It's not just, yeah, all Roman supers. Try and make the most out of them on an ability by ability basis. So if you are going to pop a super in a room, think about all the combinations in that room and how much you can get the most out of that super. But i.e., killing a wizard, ultra, and a knight for one super usage is huge. Whereas if you just kill a wizard and a couple of acolytes, that's not as good, is it? Because you haven't killed your barrier. You've then got a barrier to face, to then reposition, and then re-volatile him with your primary, and then you've got to maybe succumb to some solar nades off the acolytes. I'm talking about on a moment-to-moment basis here. This is real stuff. This isn't me like, you know, talking about, you know, talking vague. I'm actually doing the opposite of talking about vague. I'm talking about real moment, D2, in-game real-life moments. Because that's what I always want to talk about. Because listen, make no mistake about it, nothing else said by anybody really makes any sense to anyone. It doesn't matter. Yeah, somebody can say, oh, well, this weapon's good in, you know, in this universe. It's pretty good. It's reasonable, blah, blah, blah. None of it, all of it's a lot of rubbish, really. Need to talk in-game real-life moments about everything for D2. You know, if you're recommending a weapon, Barrow Dyad, you can't just say, well, you know, it's good for this reason and that reason. No, talk about it in-game, why it is. Oh, because of the Blighted Seekers doing this damage, and it procs on a moment-to-moment basis, and it melts champs, and it's good with swarmers, and it's good with these strand builds, and so on and so on and so forth. Rather than just talking about a lot of people nowadays, it's not just content creators, it's everybody. They're talking too vague. Need to be way, way more specific, especially about all these new players that are coming to the game. They need more specifics. It's not good enough to be too vague. See, D2 vets can get away with vague information. They can fill in the gaps. So if you read a Reddit post, they can fill in the gaps. New players can't fill in the gaps, so they're missing loads of information. You need to be way more specific. When we're advising people on Reddit, which people are doing, when we're advising people on Discord, YouTube, Twitch, we all have to be way more specific about what we're talking about. If you're somebody that's wanting to teach people. If you're not wanting to teach people and you're an entertaining man, well then you're an entertaining man and nobody's coming for you for the information. They're just coming for your personality, which that's good as well. That's fair enough. But yeah, the people that teach stuff, they need to be way, way, way more specific about everything what they're saying. That's all I'm saying about it. I think it's a topic that needs to be expressed more going forward. Because, you know, everybody's saying, well, we need new players. Well, that's one way. Let's be nicer to the new players that start then. Give them more information. They'll be more confident about it. We got a double damage buff from the Taken of Ambition vendor, which I've been talking about for weeks now. I popped that as I popped Song of Flame to melt the barrier. That meant I didn't even need to use any ammo. I figured it would be better to leave that room with full ammo, full special, full heavy. It allows me to play more aggressive leading up. Like, say, for example, I had 15 Riptide and 15 Whisper. I would be thinking about in the run, oh, damn, when's my next heavy brick? That will then start distracting me in the run. On a subconscious level, I'd be like, when's I getting the next heavy brick? While I'm thinking about that, I'm starting to deal with Acolytes lazy. I'm starting to be a bit slower with my barrier champs. I'm starting to be a little bit slower with ability uptime. And all these little things have a knock-on effect. Whereas if you're in a good state of mind with your ammo, leading up to a next encounter that's going to have a lot of ammo demands off you, you'll feel a lot better about the encounter at base, no matter what happens. You're going to feel a lot happier. So all these little things can affect people's runs. It's a psyche thing. That's what it sort of is. But we're going to freeze this barrier around this corner. This barrier is lethal, by the way. We get a Riptide, then a Radiant. Radiant will stun just in time with Doom. That's why Explosive Payload's so good. Wait for Whispered Breathing. Crit. And yeah, we finish a kill then. So we've done our 3 crits. We could have done a 4th, but that's fine. So far, ammo-wise, I'm using Whisper when I need to, and I'm still always I'm always above half ammo. I'm going to pop a Transcendence for Devour Chain Kill here. This is exactly what I'm going to do to speed up this bit. Okay, I want to speed it up and get to the elevator section a little bit quicker than what I should be by doing little things like this, which this isn't too bad to do. I've got a double damage bonus here. Damn, look at that. See, you know, you can do it. I have means tested this a few times. I mean, I got weak there by the 2 snipers, but that was more my fault. So yeah, you can totally do that. Good Transcendence pop. Pop it there if you're going to pop it anywhere, because you don't need it for a bit. Right, this is where Doom comes in massive. Like, if you use any other primary, like, say, an SMG, you're screwed here. You'd have to just snipe everything, because once you push up, those snipers, there's 5, 6, 7 snipers, and they can really melt you. So being able to melt the snipers down before they go up to the exit point is beneficial, because there's less snipers, and then you've multitasked, you've prioritized the targets. Acolytes were the priority, not the champ. Now the champ is the priority, because you've isolated the snipers away from the champ, and that is the goal for this little bridge encounter. But again, I need volatile rounds, so my priming, I'm edging the boss. I call it chip damage, Dorito damage, whatever you want to call it. The first third HP of a champ, you should always prime your champs on any loadout at all, ever, with any exotic weapon. Apart from maybe Lord of Wolves Radiant, because that just melts them anyways, barrier champs. Look at this melt here. So yeah, 2 shots, did a 2-tap. That's so good. I was so surprised on that. It's like, damn, that's actually good. Those shriekers are tanky. Yeah, always prime champs. Prime them to weaken them, because you get more time on the second stun. You get less time on the third stun. Look at the stun. We get a stun now. We've got all this time to DPS. This has been a rule since 2019 Shadowkeep, when champs got introduced. That rule still stands to this day. People figured that out on week 1. About week 1 of Shadowkeep. On champs, do your excessive damage after first shield break, not the first one. That rule has stood the test of time and still is a thing today. I mean, if you're just using one sustained damage weapon, say for example you're using Rev 0, right? Revision 0. Well, you don't need to worry about what phase of damage you're doing, because you're only going to use that weapon. Although if you snipe the champ, oh look at this, the champ has actually rolled. But there we go. We get a benefit there, and we're able to use Whisper in a arbalist way, because it is arbalist. Arbalist identity in the game is to one-tap a shield. Well, this is what Whisper does as well. Only problem is it doesn't work with White Nail, but because it's a field prep sniper, it's not too much of a problem if you do miss, if you do, lose a couple of shots here and there because you've had to stun a barrier rather than your actual primed barrier weapon. So if you are going to do Whisper of the Worm solo GMs, which it can be done with any of one of them, take double barrier into it. Have a primary weapon to break shields. Preferably avoid one. You may as well. It's void weapons get free barrier rounds. You may as well have that, and then have another weapon to stun whatever champ it is in the GM. So in my case, I want Riptide on because it works. It makes short work of unstops and wizards. It's very good wizard killer. I'm going to pop a Transcendence here, and this wasn't the best Transcendence pop because look, my nade, why am I throwing it at the pillar? I don't know. So yeah, I didn't do a good Transcendence pop there. I guess I was trying to find my double damage buff. There's one on the floor somewhere. I was miffed. This is what I was on about, the psyche, your frame of mind. My frame of mind was elsewhere there for a minute. Because I was like, where's my double damage? There it is, look. There she is in the middle of the stairs. The double damage bonus rolled down the stairs and messed up my entire rotation on this bit. It really messed me up, but hey, I've saved the double damage buff and I can use it, and I'm gonna. Look at the damage. This champ is trying to outroll my sniper shot. He's done that a few times. So yeah, I was like looking for it. I was like, what? Yeah, I've been bamboozled. Why am I not seeing where it is? Look, it's right in front of me. I guess I was just confused because that tangle confused me. Get the tangle out the way. So yeah, double damage bonus is picked up. Pop Song of Flame. Watch the damage. 100% buff. But it stacks multiplied. So the buff there from Song of Flame will be huge. The amount of damage there we've just done to that barrier and the wizard. Just because of that double damage bonus. Path of Ambition. Vendor. Need to make sure you've got that. Unless you're leveling up the vendors, once you've fully leveled 2 vendors up, you just use Path of Ambition. That is it. You don't use the other vendor. There's no reason to use it once you've leveled it. We are doing the hitbox thing, which probably should be fixed in the game at some point. So I am pointing it out, but I am using it. It's just to get past the damn elevator section. I could do this, or I could just run around the elevator. Which one do you want? It's also a nice break. You're 22 minutes in, you want to take a little break. You can do that. You know what I mean? It's there. It's something that we all abuse as PvE players. It's not just a me thing. It's a thing that we do. So I'm going to get a stun here. I'm just going to not do Whisper Braven. I missed my crit. Oh, that's another crit missed. I don't know how many crits that's missed so far, but there's a few. Like I said, we can have a D2 scientist down below, work it out. But I don't think you can call me for the barrier, because, see, you can't crit a barrier champ shield. I should have said this at the start of the video. You're not allowed to crit a barrier champ. Hive Knights are not allowed to be crit. I hope we understand it. You're not allowed to do it. All of that damage is body shot damage. Always has been. Always has been. Pop a Transcendence because we've got a Meteor Bane Wizard. I'm not concerned that it's a Bane. I'm concerned. Well, I am concerned a little. I was, because of the HP. It takes a lot more damage to get a Wizard down that's a Bane. More HP. 35% more. It's a lot of HP. So the Transcendence pop there was good, because I was able to do more damage to that Wizard than usual. I think I got another double damage bonus that dropped somewhere, and that went missing. I don't know what was happening with me on this run, but I was missing a few of them. Wizard, the same thing. I'm just going to freeze them. I'm not going to bother sniping them, because it's going to be a bad outcome. When you try and snipe those wizards and they're going left and right, up and down, left and right, they're doing their arc attack, their crit box is moving around. It's just a recipe for me to miss my crit, and for you to call me in the video and say, I missed a crit. I'm not going to give you the opportunity for me to miss the crit. I'll just fusion them then. Then I can get a higher accuracy score with Whisper on the run, can't I? It's manipulations, that's what it's about. 25 minutes in, this run has went for, in terms of like a time run to other runs, it's pretty much the same as the others. Notably, Whisper's not a fast play style. It's not for that. But let's not put everybody in a box and say, you know, everybody needs to have a fast play style. The word or the definition play style has nothing to do with speed. Alright? That's, alright, a speedrunner, that's their play style. Somebody who is consistent on day one but doesn't speed run, well, that's a type of playstyle. They lock in. I know a lot of players that just lock in on day one content and will not die. They might not be the fastest player in the world, but damn, they are consistent. There's a few players I'm thinking about. You might not even know I'm talking about, probably. It's some obscure GM.report names that you might not have never heard of, and not even from this country or from America or anywhere like that. But there are players in this world that I have seen that, yeah, they're not the fastest, but damn, they're dead consistent. And I'm not bothered if they're using ranged weapons. That doesn't come into it. Forget about that. If they're consistent every day for day one content, over 5-10 years, that's real consistency. That's fantastic. It's unbelievable. To be consistent over that amount of time is unreal. He's Whisper damage. Let's have a look at it. Let's say that Whisper Braven's procced. Boss is calmed down. 100k. 100k. The boss, what's he doing? Going behind cover. Yes, he would. Yep. He knows what to do. He knows how to fight against Whisper. Boss re-aggroes. Oh, damn, body shot. Was that a body shot as well? But look at the amount of damage it's chunking, though. This boss does have some multiple... I don't know what the crit multiplier on the boss is, but I believe this boss does possess a crit multiplier, which is why this boss is weakened to crit damage. Which historically wizards have been. Like take Dullan Carew from the Shattered Throne dungeon, for example. But yeah, we pop a Transcendence here because all the ads are coming at us. That's part of the run, by the way. That's my strat. So the strat is to DPS the boss to a third. That spawns in all ads. This gives us more control of the room with more bang for the efficiency of my abilities. So I've been able to use more Transcendence on all the ads, and my super will then clean up the room. It's planned to clear both wizards. Look, all ads are killed. But I get my Transcendence back, so we can repeat the process. DPS, then Transcendence, then Super. DPS, like that. It goes like that from phase 1 to 2 to 3. Look, back to damaging, 109k. Yeah, then the boss likes to... yeah, we shouldn't have done that. Although, freaking Mulligan proc there. Did you see that? But yeah, we did miss a shot because that boss was just wanting to go around to cover. I pop a Transcendence here, probably premature. This is a premature Transcendence. I shouldn't have popped it so soon, but I was like thinking there'll be more ads spawn on this phase. So I'm going to get my crits, get this boss. We want to get the boss as soon as sent. The quicker the better. You know, we should have been able to send the boss. If the boss hadn't misbehaved there, I would have sent the boss, then pop Transcendence, then pop Super. Well, I haven't got Super yet, but you know what I mean. Like right now I need Transcendence and all the ads are coming out and I don't have it. So that was a little bit of a con to this little bit because of the premature Transcendence pop. Although I'm close to one. I'm close to my next. So if I wanted I could farm that up. I am kind of farming it up a little bit. Unstop phase. Ammo check as well. So I'm doing a little bit of an ammo check and I'm noticing, oh yeah, quite low on Riptide right now, which isn't ideal. And that wasn't ideal either. Never rift when a curse does that. If I wasn't that high in power, I would have died there, definitely. Okay, so get weak there again off this unstop. That's fine. That's why you've got this piece of cover. You just strafe left. Okay, we get a stun on this unstop. A bit of Radiant to save the damage a little bit. We got 5 Riptide shots left. There's loads of ammo. It's just, as I say, I just need to manage it a little bit. I'm just going to use the sniper here a little bit. Because we've got plenty of it. Right, so I have a Transcendence to pop. I'm just farming a little bit more energy because I want to finish the run with a super. As in super with, so Song of Flame damage with Whisper, which will allow Whisper of the Worm to scorch enemies. It does scorch enemies if you're in a Song of Flame super, but don't forget that. don't forget that it does that. So do my ammo run. The last ad has died. We can now do our damage. But I need to aggro the boss over. But essentially, I'm just going to finish off a damage rotation on the boss. Just for the classy finish. Song of Flame. And then, you damage 121. It's a higher number because of Radiant. But yeah, that was a solo GM with Whisper of the Worm. It was an interesting run. It's a flashback to an old exotic. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.